hours on my computer for right now. Luckily. So, alright everybody. Thank you very much for coming to this lesson. The reason why I like to start a lot of classes with music, but the reason I'm starting this one specifically is a piece by Smithna called The Mole Down. Who can tell me about this? Who's heard of this piece before? Yeah.
I know it's what's found is Czech.
Yep.
So it's, I believe that this is the first movement of like a part of something like that. This is about like river.
Yep. It's about the river right there. It flows through from the Mole Down. Very good. And the point is that we've been using environmental sounds in our music since before we had written music. Whether they are environmental influences like the river or actual environmental sounds like in speaking. And the whole point of today's class is there's too many different sounds happening. The whole point of today's class is finding ways for you guys to use your own environmental experiences or those that you learn more about in your pieces on your recital or in your classroom. So let's get started. We are going to be talking about environmental sound art. Appropriate reactions. And we're going to be using composition procedures to create environmental sound. So let's start right off the bat. A compositional procedure is a predetermined set of instructions used in the creation of a musical composition. That is nice. So that means, in the same way that it's a 12-tone technique or a sonata form, like when we have a sonata, we have a predetermined set of rules. This is a sonata form. That is a procedure. And composers use that to create a sonata. Or in your counterpoint class that you're doing, and the counterpoint you're learning in or the counterpoint you're learning in your Theory 1 and 2 classes, all these are procedures. And we're just going to create one that anybody can use. So we're going to talk about what is sound art. It's a form of contemporary art that uses sound as a channel for creative expression. Sound as the music. So just any sound is music. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Anybody? Who is that? Who said that before? Yeah? Yes. All right. All sound is music. Great example is 4 minutes and 33 seconds, which features the absence of intended sound. Intended sound being, I want this note to happen at this time. When we remove that, it means that any performance we give or it will never happen the same performance. That's when he invites spontaneity into his piece of art, removing intended music. That's a picture of John Cage. This is a better picture of John Cage. Yes. The big question, is it music? A lot of it's okay if you don't think it is. What do we think? Is sound is stuff? Has everyone heard of 4 minutes and 33 seconds? It's nothing happening for 4 minutes and 33 seconds to the naked eye, but if you're listening, it becomes its own piece of music. Do we think this is music?
Yes.
It doesn't have to be. It is, yeah. It's much more. It may be closer to art than it is closer to art than it is like pop music or something you would hear. You're not gonna hear 4 minutes and 36 seconds at a club on purpose. But yeah, all sound. If you look at it this way, all sound can be appreciated and understood as music, and we honestly should look at it that way because we are expert listeners. We spend more time using our ears than most people do not use. So we're expert listeners. So if we view the world this way, suddenly our music degree has all music training has all these applications that it didn't before. Just like our organization of sound. But so if we suddenly open our minds to the idea of any sound can be music, we suddenly become great world listeners. And this is popular not just in music, this whole sound art thing, but you have the She Goat by Picasso, where everything in this is just found objects, just trash, that he found in his backyard, that he created into a piece of art. It's like in museums now still. So this idea of found objects or found sounds as art is here. All right, so environmentalist or environmental sound art, what we're going to learn about is just that using sound art, using the environment specifically. We choose to use the environment to make the sound art. And it's really, yes, it's where the environment is the material, medium, and or subject matter. And the goal is to draw attention to the sound around us, encouraging us to practice conscious, focused listening as a means to enhance our knowledge, understanding, and appreciation for the world we live in. And like I said, so it's to draw our attention to the sound around us. And like once again, as expert listeners, which we've already talked about how we are, we're able to use if we do these, we're able to use our experiences to teach other people about what we're hearing, or something we heard, or something we want to hear. Most importantly, why? Why should we do this? Just because we have an hour, because someone didn't want to do a master class today, and this is what I came up with, because I needed a topic for my doctorate. All interesting things, but no. This is why we do it. As classical musicians, we do not always communicate very well. We know what we're doing is great, and our audience does, but unless you are in our audience or us, you might not know what we're doing or how we're doing it or why we're doing it. This lets us doing this kind of stuff lets us communicate our class with our audience or even a broader audience. It allows us to it can be a tool for storytelling, education, activism, and performance. And that's Bob Miller because he has the best ones. So let's talk about storytelling. Let's say we have a piece. Who's played a piece of music that has good all say that is about a specific place that they can think of? Yeah. Speak is a great one, yeah.
Lincolnshire Posey.
Lincolnshire Posey, yeah. Finlandia.
I played a solo horn piece called Appalachia, and it was about
Very cool. Yeah, we already have these pieces about places. What this lets us do is we can enhance that storytelling by using environmental sound art and pair with that piece, or use it we could use it in our performance of the piece. We can use field recordings, which we'll learn a little bit more about. We can use it in education. I'll talk a little bit more about this later, but you can use this if you're a music educator. If you're using compositional procedures, you can introduce composing in your classroom. You are still in high school, correct? Have you composed in your high school band? Did you know that that's the standard that we're supposed to be teaching in schools? This is a way to do that. It's also a way to link up with your science teacher and link up with your science teacher and create STEAM, which is, the sad truth is that a lot of our administrators, if we're teaching, don't know what we're doing unless it's at a football game. I've been lucky recently with some really great administrators, but often they don't know unless it's 25 or 6 to 4 on the third down. They don't really care, right? And so by doing this, suddenly we're teaching kids, we're scaffolding, we're having they're learning about their science and music, and then that means that they're learning about their music and science. It gets the rest of the faculty engaged in what you're doing. It makes your job easier. You can also do it for activism. Let's say that there's an environment that's in danger, and you want to spread awareness on it. You can use the procedure to do that. And just for performance, you can just create your own piece. And the whole point is this is you composing. And so let's another reason why is how cool is this? We're looking at this, we're looking at data. How awesome is this? Can you tell that this is really cool? Or does it take like an artist rendition to tell you what that is? Because this is the same thing. It's climbing that up to Niagara Falls, and this is what an artist makes all of it. If all you saw was this and you know nothing about Niagara Falls, not very interesting. But when we use art to share it, it suddenly changes. So that's why this is important. It's why it's just one topic at a master class. one before we had access to recording technology, right? And we use this procedure to reflect that, which is nice, great. And it tells our story in the way only you can. Once you create this piece in this performance, it can never be duplicated by anybody else. So the first thing we take is the music, time, and place. These are our ingredients. So let's start off with a field recording is our place. A field recording is just a tape recording of environmental sounds. So that's just you just record somewhere. Obviously, the better the microphone, the better the quality. But what's incredible about field recordings is that it does not filter out sound. Our ears filter out sounds. So we kind of will filter out those low level noises, like the white noise happening. Our ears will automatically kind of tune that out. What's interesting is if you're on a movie set, you're trying to film the sound of the ocean, you absolutely cannot just put a mic near the ocean in the same way that you would if you were just standing in the ocean hearing the ocean. It's because it sounds completely different to the microphone that doesn't know what to tune out versus our ears that does. So we have this unaltered view of the field recording. So we're hearing it in ways that we've done before. Impulse response, we're not going to do that in here. Basically just you get the echo in place so that you can put that into your digital audio workstation, and now you have the reverb of that place. But more importantly, the musical selection with historical ties to the field recording. So we pick a piece to make it a potential soundscape. We pick a piece tied to where we recorded. And I'm going to continue explaining this a little bit. So our first thing we got to do is choose a site, get the field recording, and then, like I said, choose the selection with historical ties to that chosen recording site. And then we perform the selection, the most fun part. So right off the bat, field recording, we choose a site for its sound potential, historical significance, or just ease of location. I made one yesterday morning in Wichita, Kansas, because that's where I am outside the dining hall, because that's where I was. So then I chose a music selection with ties to that side. And you do that, you choose a piece that could have been potentially heard in this place. I researched the area, I find local music tradition or historical, or just historical things that happen. Kind of use a detective style approach to history, which is fun because you end up learning way more than you actually use this. And it's a great way to learn about it, learn about your area that you are. So in Wichita, for those of you that don't know, it was founded in 1864 as a trading post on the new site of the Wichita Native Americans. Its early development to the Texas Cattle Ranch outside the Chisholm Trail, which is pictured below. And using that information, I was able to, I was a couple directions I was looking at. I found some cowboys to find my musical selection. I found some cowboy songs, which is just ballads that cowboys would have sung. And but then I also found this dissertation where someone transcribed Wichita Native American song, like traditional songs. The only issue with that is, with using Native American songs, is that they're rarely what was sung. Because it's an oral tradition, we don't know what was sung 200 years ago. We know what's being sung now. And because of the kind of the squashing of that culture, it's tricky to guess what they've actually been sung. But we know what they're singing now. And so I found a Wichita Ghost Hand song #1. And the idea is to we have this good recording of the place today. And to show the history of the place, I'm playing a piece that could have been heard there. The goal is to find a piece that at some point, somewhere, somehow, someone sang that song, whistled that melody, and so we are recreating something that could have happened using our own research and our own ears. And the intent is just to create a unique musical composition, something we don't always get a chance to do. It helps us learn about that place, learn about the history of that place. What's also really interesting is that it gives us a field recording, which is a scientifically relevant piece of information. We all know that pictures say 1,000 way more data from sound of a picture. You can tear down a forest and have it grow back, and the trees will grow back way before the biodiversity that was there before you cut it down. So you can have a picture of a forest, wow, it's grown back, we're safe, it's all great. But when you listen to it, you hear way less bird song, way less animal chatter. And so with that sound, you get a unique capture of that place that is in itself scientifically relevant. In the same way that we talked about the Respighi, where there's the bird song and pines, the Respighi, and that is actually, if anything were to ever happen to that bird, we would have a recording of that bird at that time. Even if its calls changed or if it was wiped out, we would always have access to that because of this environmental sound. So once you've written a piece, we are going to talk about how to title it, just so we have all the information. First thing, music and time and place. Insert title of your historic musical selection, insert the date of recording, and insert the field, the location of the field recording. So mine will be Wichita, Good number 1, June 26, 2023, Wichita State University. I will, before we get to that, I'm going to play the one I came up with for Wichita, just for this class, just in Wichita State. Fortunately, the sound isn't going through the speakers, so you can hear it fine. And as we're listening, actually, I'm going to let us listen first. See what you can hear in this recording. What's the first sound everybody hears? Wind. You kind of hear this hum in the background. You hear what that is? You know that might be? Crickets, there's construction noise. It's evident, you can kind of tell what's going on. Even if I were just taking a picture of that spot, we wouldn't know all this other stuff that's going on. And it also shows how much time has changed from when this was just a trading post, right? All the way from Texas. So that's the piece. So if you were to do a song, which would be multiple of those, you could pair that with another song. If you were doing a Native American inspired piece, there are a lot. When you start looking for specific pieces like that, you will find them. Trust me, I was looking for whale sound pieces. All right. So what we're going to do next. What we're going to do next is scan. Actually, I didn't think we were going to have enough time to do this, but we are. What we're going to do now is make our own environmental sound. We're going to do that procedure. So that'll take you to a Google form because we're paper friendly here. And the first thing we're going to do is everybody have the form. I'll go to the form with you. That's the event that you count. That's cool. And then anybody else found an event that they want to share? Yeah.
I went on more recent with mine, where I just looked back,
Sorry, say it again.
I just looked back 25 years.
One more time, we're sharing this. We're sharing our events. Can you say it one more time?
I looked back only 25 years, so back to 1998, and apparently that was the year that the Bruce grain elevator, the largest grain elevator in the world at the time, killed 7 people. There was an explosion that killed 7 people and injured 10 more. And that was almost exactly 25 years ago. Like it was in June as well.
So that one, I really like. Well, I don't like that happened. But how can we find music from that?
Well,
I'm not saying that like it's a bad idea because you get music. I'm saying what are some ways you can find that?
No, it was just kind of one of the words. For my soundscape thing, I just went all the way across the parking lot to right on Hillside Street and just recorded like the cars passing each other in it. And
Yeah.
I was just thinking like, and like, how things have like changed, I guess, since then.
Well, that's cool. Yeah.
Just like how.
A lot of our field recordings kind of show how places change.
Like it probably wasn't very peaceful at one point.
Yeah.
Everybody was like on edge. I don't know how big of a significant event that was for Wichita itself, but I assume it wasn't great.
So did you pick a song to go along with it?
I haven't gotten that far yet.
So I really like your event, so let's talk about what are some songs we could pick. So remember, your
Some Wichita was.
you could do the Wichita Joe song, yeah. Maybe they're a Native American from the Wichita tribe died in that. But what we could do is let's look at if tragedy happens to you, let's say your parent was in the elevator, what is a coping mechanism we use when tragedy hits us? What kind of canvases? Music, right? So what we could say, we could find a song that they might have listened to. We could look at pop songs from 1998, like what was the #1 song? We did that. There was when I first did this, I was living in Tallahassee, and one of my sites was the African American school that got closed down during segregation. It was a pretty scary time because the school they were sent to, my son was Old Dixie, so I can't imagine it was the most welcoming place in the world. And so my thought was like, what would I do if I were like about to be in this like new situation? I was terrified. I'd probably sing a song, right? And so, or I'd probably just be listening to it. So I found a song from that, like that was the top 10, right when that announcement was made, and that was one. So that's the way we can find songs that are difficult situations. Who else does anybody else want to share there? Yeah.
1928 Wichita claims to be the aviation capital of the world.
Cool.
And the popular song at the time was Mac the Knife.
That's nice.
So just kind of
Yeah, you could do that. You could find. I wonder if there's like somewhere buried. You have to do some research, but there's the jingle for whatever airline was in Wichita. You could do like the 1920. What was it, 1928?
28.
Whatever the Delta was at that time. Your jingle was. You could do that.
Because they have four or five different companies
Yeah.
based out of Wichita Start.
And so suddenly you're sharing historical information. You're sharing scientific data with your field reporting, and then you're also sharing your own musicianship and your interests using this really, really simple procedure. Honestly, it does not take that long to do. It's just how intentionally you go with it. When I perform it, I like to do it if I have my whole setup. I was gonna bring it, but I have to leave my car in the airport parking lot for like 2 days. I didn't want all my mics to be in there, so sorry everybody. But normally I use a Yamaha sound brass mute that basically you can turn into a MIDI input where you or it more like it turns it into I use it as a microphone. So I plug it into my computer using audio interface and then put the reverb through it of that place, and so it sounds as if it's in that place. So it's like another information that you're getting. How does that place actually sound? How does the echo sound? How would my voice sound in that place? Anybody else want to share? I'm gonna let you guys go a little early unless we
Foundation, who founded this building, Walter Gibson, I don't
Yeah.
know his last name. He died suddenly of a heart attack, so what I do is I recorded ambience from upstairs where you could hear people talking, people practicing, and doors shutting, and I would play, I'm trying to find the last piece he would have conducted.
Cool. I really like that one too. Yeah. Does anybody, we didn't really give you guys enough time to find, finding good music for these is really difficult. That's what takes the longest, is finding good music for it. That's actually what's tricky with, like I said, Native American songs, is finding transcribed pieces. That's why, like, there's whole books of cowboy songs that are really easy. Anybody else want to share? Yeah.
Went more experimental with it instead of like doing research. I just kind of went right into it, and I tried to go like find what other people were doing. So like I just did a like recording of like the bowling center. There was some family having fun there, so
Oh, that's
that's
cool.
like the story behind it.
And so what song would you use for that?
Well, I couldn't come up with anything creative on that front, but I did find a top 10 list of songs you should play if you get a strike. So
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you really can do whatever you want as long as you have a way from the place, which is what I like about this. Another thing you do, I cut this for time, but another thing you can do is what you were talking about is there's a composition procedure that allows you to kind of compare temperatures from multiple places. So what you do is you take temperature data for 7 days from either 2 different places in the same week, different places, different places, same week, same place, different weeks, whichever one you do. I thought about doing this week versus, a cool one to do would be doing this week and then also doing Fred Rasmus from last year, comparing temperatures. I think it would be pretty cool. But then you take that data and use something called sonification. Use a sonification process where you just kind of take the numbers and assign a pitch to your data range. So let's say like 1 through 10 is A, B flat, B natural, C, D, etc. And then each of those numbers gets the pitch, so you create a melody using the temperature data. And you can use that, you can decide how you want to decide. You can do chromatically, you can use blues scale, you can use pentatonic scale, you could use tonic scale, you can really do whatever you want. You can use whole tone, just based on what you want the sound to be, and then you write the composition using that. You can play it either as a starting melody for the composition if you're a composer, or just as a way of showing it. In the same way that graph before showed the data, we're basically sonically recreating that graph. Anyway, that's the other one. I didn't really want to get too much into that, so we have time for you guys to build the point, because that's the most fun part. Does anybody else have anything they want to share? If not, I'll let you go. Yeah.
I found that in the year 1998, one of the top 100, top Billboard songs, this was the same year that this tragedy happened. One of them was "My Heart Will Go On."
Oh, there you go. That was heard everywhere. So I'm sure that would have been something that would work. Yeah, that's awesome. Anybody else last chance to share? If you want to talk to me more about it, I'm always down. Make sure to submit the form so I can see what you did, because I'm always curious about that. Last chance. Anybody want to share theirs? If not, I'm gonna let you guys go to lunch, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Do you have any questions? All right, cool. Let me know if you ever do this in the future. Let me know if you ever need more information.